Well, good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you to this short presentation. How many of you are familiar with the community pregnancy clinics? Pretty much everybody. This is really a phenomenal answer to the struggle for women with a pregnancy that they don't want. They walk with them hand in hand, they guide them, and then they take care of them. So it's a wonderful organization, and this organization and types like it could be challenged if this Amendment 4 does pass. So we pray that we can defeat Amendment 4. And Madison, who will be speaking today, we have known since she was a little grasshopper. She's my granddaughter's best friend, and my granddaughter just moved back down here from South Carolina and came with our second great-grandson. So she's known her for years, and we've known her for years. And so I would like to present to you one lovely lady who has been very, very helpful with Community Pregnancy Clinic and sharing their story. So, Madison?
Thank you so much. You guys are so blessed to have the Gadudis here running your Respect Life team. They truly are so incredible and just great examples of the faith. So thank you guys. So like Mr. Gadudi said, my name is Madison Campbell, and I serve as the outreach coordinator for community pregnancy clinics. And today I'm really here for two reasons. Number one is to just tell you a little bit more about community pregnancy clinics and what we're doing right now in the pro-life movement, and then to educate you a little bit more on Amendment 4. I know you might have heard a little bit about Amendment 4 maybe in the bulletin or from Father George, but right now I want you to be able to walk away with some main points so that when people ask you about it or you meet people on the street, you can tell as many people as you encounter to vote no on Amendment 4 and why they should vote no, and how voting no will directly impact the pro-life movement and potentially save millions of babies. So our real mission is to serve women and save babies from abortion with care, compassion, and choices, and we've been doing that for 50 years now. So this is our 50th anniversary year, and some of the services that we offer include free pregnancy tests, ultrasounds, STI testing, counseling, 3 years of assistance after birth, and abortion pill reversal. And abortion pill reversal is huge right now because during COVID, some laws were passed where doctors could send abortion pills in the mail. And so it just became a lot more prevalent and easily accessible for women. So when they get the abortion pill, it's 2 pills. The first one blocks progesterone, which we know is the pro-life hormone that helps keep the baby in the womb. So if we can reach women in that window before they take the second pill that terminates the pregnancy completely, we can flood their body with progesterone and really save that baby. So that's a huge thing that we've been offering that has really helped save a lot of babies. And serve women, because the abortion pill can be very dangerous as well. So some of our responses to the abortion epidemic here, one thing that we have is this 24/7 nurse chat. So if clients go on our client website, there's a little nurse in the corner, and it's a live nurse, it's a live chat to where they can contact someone on our team and that person can answer any questions that they have directly. So that's been a huge resource because it's almost like having access to a 24/7 counselor and someone that can set up an appointment for them, coach them through this crisis situation, and really help them to choose life. So that's been a huge thing for us. Another thing is Google Ads. If you type in, keywords like looking for an abortion or ultrasound, will come up. So we really try to target these abortion-minded women to try to get to them as soon as possible. All of our services are free, so we try to make that as available to people in need as we can. The third thing we're doing is our SHARE program. So what that is, it's our sexual health and relationship education program, and it really aims to get to the root of the issue, which is the hearts and minds and the culture that our young people experience. So we have a team of SHARE ambassadors, which are basically people in college and around my age who go into high schools, youth groups, church groups, specifically a lot of the Catholic schools here and private schools, and they teach kids about sexual integrity and then baby development in the womb. So those two presentations are really key to, number one, addressing the problem, which is a culture of death, promiscuity, culture that pushes abortion, pornography. So we address that. And then we also address the issue of when does life begin? And so we have this presentation. It's from the curriculum A Glimpse Inside, which was developed by the JP2 Institute. And it's a video curriculum with a CGI version of a baby in a womb from conception through birth. And it really gets to the heart of these young kids about the baby's development through each stage of the pregnancy through birth. And it has board-certified obstetricians answering questions throughout the presentation. So those are really two key ways that we're kind of getting to the root of the abortion issue before these women find themselves in a crisis situation in our clinics. So last year, we were able to have a big impact and save, in the last 50 years, over 23,000 babies, which has just really been huge. And for us, a save is when we know the baby is born. We have a little bell that the nurses will ring to know that that baby made it. And one of our clinics in Sarasota sits directly next to Planned Parenthood. They actually share a parking lot. And so Planned Parenthood can hear that bell ring whenever a baby's saved, which is really cool. In our SHARE program last year, we reached almost 12,000 students, which was really amazing. The head of our program, Pam Stencil, she's done a great job just speaking to kids all across the country and even internationally throughout her 30-year career. So we're really blessed to have that program. So right now, community pregnancy clinics, we serve women in the state of Florida. We have 5 physical locations in Gainesville, Fort Myers, Sarasota, and 2 clinics in Naples, and then we have 2 mobile units. So right now, we're able to be really active in the pro-life movement through those clinics and through all of you praying outside Planned Parenthood, the sidewalk advocates that intercept women and direct them to our clinics. But all of that could change if Amendment 4 passes. So I'm sure you guys have heard a little bit about Amendment 4, maybe through Father George or in the bulletin, but you should know that this is an extreme abortion amendment. A lot of people think, oh, well, you know, we can just make a change next year if this is passed. No, this is an amendment to the Florida Constitution, and we will not see it changed in our lifetime if it's passed. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this little video to give a quick introduction on the amendment.
Switch, sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, all deceptions that make one thing seem like another. Like Amendment 4, an abortion amendment that's much more extreme than at first it seems. Here's Amendment 4, and here are other amendments from years past. Most provide detailed definitions of essential words, so voters know what they're voting on. So how many definitions does Amendment 4 provide? 0. This small trick is a big scam. Amendment 4 says no law shall restrict abortion before viability. Never defines viability. It allows late-term abortions for a patient's health, but never defines patient's health. It allows so-called healthcare providers, not doctors, to define these terms, but never defines healthcare provider, a term broad enough to include non-medical staff at abortion clinics. Just as bad, Amendment 4 eliminates Florida's parental consent laws, replacing consent with notification and making abortion the only medical procedure a minor could undergo without a parent's consent. They didn't have to write Amendment 4 this way, but they did. Why? Because they want to deceive you, to make their extreme amendment seem reasonable. This is what Amendment 4's ballot summary says. But this is what it means. No law shall prohibit any abortion at any time for any reason determined by abortion clinic employees. This amendment makes abortion the only medical procedure your child can undergo without your consent. It sounds extreme because it is extreme. No definitions, no doctors, no parental consent. Amendment 4, way too extreme and not what it seems.
Okay, sorry, the sound was out a little bit there. Let me just get back to my presentation. Okay. So, a couple things I want you to remember. I know there's a lot of words on the screen, so I'm just gonna try to break it down really simply. The first thing here, no definitions. So we were at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton a couple weeks ago, and there was an attorney present who really explained this more in depth, how dangerous this is. If you look at amendment, I think it's Amendment 3, it's the marijuana amendment, it has 5 pages of definitions in that amendment. This is 34 words. When there's no definitions, it leads every single word here up to the interpretations of the courts. That means taxpayer dollars will be going to court cases to try to define all of these things, and that means that a word like viability could be defined as, a baby's not viable until it's born. So that leads into the no limits. No limits, because there's no definitions, this could allow abortions essentially up through birth, since there really is no definition of when viability can be. And when science says, a baby is viable, well, science has been in a disagreement of when life begins, even though, we know from many scientists that life begins at the moment of conception. So we can't be relying on the medical community to define these things in court, because as we've seen, it doesn't work, it doesn't help. And so then the no parental consent piece, if you see here, there's a word that they use, and it says notification. So notification means that they could notify the parent, which means try to contact whoever the child provides as the parental contact, but they don't actually have to reach them. They could leave a voicemail, send an email. They could say, we tried to call, but no one answered. We gave notification. They could even give notification after the abortion has taken place. So really, that word notification, people say, they're still notifying the parents. No, that's very different than parental consent. Right now, we have a parental consent law in the state of Florida where the parents have to say, yes, my child is allowed to receive this care. And as you guys, I'm sure, know, a child can't even be given an aspirin or a Tylenol in a school right now without a parent's consent. So this would make it really one of the only things in the entire medical community that wouldn't require a parent's consent. And for such a big, important thing, you would think that would be, something included here. But again, this was developed by people that want to see as many abortions take place as possible. It's extreme and it's deceptive, and it's meant to deceive you and lie to you. So I think Pam Stencil said a quote, the people that do this, they kill babies for a living. So lying is not really beyond their moral compass. So yeah, that's the no parental consent. That's a huge one. And in a lot of the polling, voters have really clung on to that. Even if they're pro-abortion, even if they're pro-choice, when they hear the no parental consent, when you talk to people, that one is really resonating, because even a lot of Republicans, a lot of conservatives and supporters of the Republican Party, they want the parents to be in charge of their children's decisions, right? So that is a huge thing that resonates with them. So the no parental consent, if you can tell as many people about that, I think that will really help people vote no on Amendment 4. And then this bait and switch, like I said, if this passes, we can just change it next year. Or even going further, things will just go back to how they were with Roe v. Wade. No. This could even open up doors to a Florida constitutional right to abortion with no protections for the unborn throughout all 9 months. So that's this is really, truly one of the most extreme abortion amendments in the country, and can really turn Florida into a state of death. Something we've seen too is, I believe it was in Canada, people that were praying outside of abortion clinics, that led into the no law or anything really shall penalize, delay, or restrict abortion. So they could say that you praying in front of a Planned Parenthood was delaying someone's abortion. Imagine a world like that where we can't even pray for these women who are going into this clinic. So That's a huge thing. And then the taxpayer funding. So in Michigan, where they had a similar amendment approved, basically people were able to go in and sue the state for not funding abortions because the lack of funding created a delay in the abortion. So this is something that could very easily happen in Florida too. And we really don't, a lot of people, nobody wants to spend money on abortion, even if they are pro-choice or pro-abortion. That could be another point that you could share with others that could help sway them just to vote no. I think something here is, it's amazing to try to change people to believe in the pro-life mission and to understand when life begins and to want to protect the dignity of every human life. But if we can just get people to vote no, we'll be saving so many more babies in the short term. And then we can kind of go back to that mission later. So whatever you have to say out of all these points, whatever resonates with someone, even if they are pro-choice and pro-abortion, you're not trying to change their mind to be pro-life right now. You're just trying to get them to vote no and get as many people as they can to vote no as well. So these are just a few references to the Catechism. Unfortunately, within the Catholic Church, we see a lot of pro-choice, pro-abortion people. And so, part of being a Catholic is being pro-life. So if you guys want, I can send a copy of this, or you can take a picture. If any Catholics are unsure of the Church's stance on abortion, these are some really good quotes straight from the Catechism that really hit the points of why we are pro-life. Life begins at the moment of conception, and no human being deserves the death penalty, no matter if it's rape or incest. We know that there's no reason to have an abortion to save a mother's life. That is a lie put out by the opposing side. So those are just some good references. And then you have this paper right here, and these words, this is the entire amendment. These are all 34 words in the amendment. So you'll see different words are outlined, and there's little explanations that can kind of help remind you what to say for each piece. But if there are 3 things I want you to take away whenever someone says, why should I vote no on Amendment 4? No limits, abortion all through 9 months, so no limits, no parental consent. And the third one, which I haven't really talked about, is no doctors. So when this says, as determined by the patient's health care provider, what is a health care provider? That could even be the woman at the front of the abortion clinic. It could be your chiropractor. It could be your tattoo artist. These are all health care providers. So no limits, no parental consent, and no doctors. Those 3 points are really resonating with voters. So again, no limits, no doctors, no parental consent. So yeah, if you guys, we only have a few short weeks until the election. You can tell as many people as you can to vote no on Amendment 4. Spread the word, spread the message. You'll really be helping our mission, which is to serve women and save as many babies as we can from abortion. And if you want to know how you can get involved with our organization, just come see me up at this table afterwards. Thank you so much.
See you. Today at Mass, Father mentioned Teresa of Lisieux, and he mentioned about how we are to do works with great love, and I can guarantee you community pregnancy clinics do all their work with great love, and I think you could see that in Madison today. She really has a heart for all this, and she's hoping that we too will carry her heart and her message to many people, our family, our friends. And the only thing I would like to add, and Madison may have touched on it, but it's about no matter what side of the abortion issue you are on, we have Florida state laws that protect women and minors right now. If this amendment becomes part of our Constitution, we won't, I think Madison said that, we will not be able to turn back. It will be in our Constitution, and we will never be able to turn back and get that protection for 12-year-old little girls or, women that, are, at great risk. So please do all each of you can, and let's thank Madison again, because she goes out to many people. Thank you,
Thank
sweetie.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. And I just wanted to share too, Mrs. Gadudi was going to mention, on Friday, October 11th, she has a phenomenal speaker coming to speak right here in your parish hall, October 11th from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. Dr. McGuire from Ave Maria University. She's coming here to give a phenomenal presentation about where our nation is headed. So come join us for that. Yes.